ready to take your investment game to the next level? Introducing Digital Investor, your ultimate guide to mastering the digital marketplace. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, Digital Investor brings you cutting-edge game theoretical strategies, expert insights, and real-time tips and tactics to analyze, evaluate, invest and grow your wealth. Don't miss out on the digital revolution. Visit www.nickblacknex.com and start your journey with Digital Investor today.
Hey, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Watching
That
them
was like,
toads.
there's a lot of busy, there's just so much happening every day now. This is crazy.
Yeah, we live in a crazy world.
Hope you guys all are ready for today because we got a lot of information to share. You
Yeah,
got a
what's
lot
that
of information. I got a lot of information, and there's a lot of tradable stuff out there right now. So, whew,
There's information inside the information.
that's what's good about this. Busy weekend, obviously. My favorite thing that I saw, I'm just going to show this real quick before you hop into your stuff because I think this is interesting. Or
Go on, then.
I thought it was cool. Have you seen People's latest post? People's latest artwork.
Oh,
It is.
you mean every days?
Yeah, latest artwork of the day. It's kind of cool. The Ethereum, the inevitable. So I don't know if you've seen this chart where Ethereum, they go back to 2020, like 2018, Ethereum 2,500, Bitcoin 20,000, 2022, Bitcoin 60,000, Ethereum 2,500, 2023, Bitcoin 90,000, Ethereum 2,500. Right now, Bitcoin 108,000, Ethereum 2,500. Programmed for 2,500 bucks, Ethereum. It's always going to be 2,500. Always.
So I thought there's another Beeple story. Do you remember when he sold every days for $69 million?
Oh yeah, I seen that post. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Go ahead.
You know what it's valued at right now?
Well, $10, but I don't know.
$100 bucks. $100
bucks. Yeah, I saw one that said $10.
Now, do you know what the inside scoop on that was?
It was a wash trade of sorts, wasn't it?
Well,
Pretty
yeah.
much?
The hedge fund he was a part of bought it.
Yeah, that was
Borderline illegal, I think, because that's what he used to kind of pump up all the rest of the stuff that he was selling.
Yeah.
Philip, you probably could have fit more in that dialogue box, buddy. Let's see.
I'll sit up here.
So
There you
yeah,
go. Got it.
Let me look down on this message here.
Hi, Nick. Hey, that's good though. Like it looks like buying power. That's awesome, dude. Philip crushed it. Nice job, Philip. Philip crushed it on his trade.
61 cents. Okay. All right.
Originally sold, so made $32. $32. Sold trade tribe 3 days. Nice job. 30%. Yeah, that's a pretty good win.
Oh, wait. No. I've never said. Hold on. I've never said when you're up over 30%, lock it in. That's not.
Oh, on options?
Yeah, that's not a thing.
Yeah. Hey, but still 30%, 30%.
No.
That's a win.
No. We're not
That's a
going to
win.
celebrate bad behavior. Phil,
No, that's a win.
Phil, you're a nice guy. But you fucked that up.
No.
You straight fucked that up. You're like my pinky toe. You banged it on the coffee table is what you did. Look.
Hey, speaking of coffee, that's a great segue.
We're not done yet.
Yeah, we are. We are done. We're going to segue into coffee.
No, we're not segueing into
Why
shit.
not?
Because we're tearing Phil apart for taking 30%. 30% is not a thing, Phil. 30% capital gains, like your short-term capital gains. You don't wake up in the morning, throw your hands up in the air and say, I'm shooting for 0 today. Hey, everyone, I can't wait to be mediocre. No, that's some bullshit. 80, 90%, you can take some off the table. 30% ain't a thing. I mean, I'm glad you got out and you made some money, but 30% is not a thing. It's never been a thing. It will never be a thing. There. Carry on.
Speaking of coffee, I know you saw this because it's in your little tidbit.
Yeah.
Spanish coffee chain Venati Coffee shareholders approved its plan to invest $1 billion into Bitcoin, aiming to become Spain's largest listed Bitcoin company, following the MicroStrategy model.
Well,
everybody doing it. Everybody doing it. This is good.
most of these Bitcoin virtue signaling, crypto treasury plays, gimmicky, bullshitty, we now love crypto plays are just that. They're gimmicks. And most of them, I think most of them will fail. So I'll give you a little background on Venati Coffee. So think about this number. They're going to raise the 1.1 billion for crypto, okay, to buy Bitcoin, right? Because it's a failed coffee franchise. You want to know how many locations there are, Brandon? Take a guess.
I thought like 10.
10. No.
Oh crap! Too much. Is it like the Meta Planet one hotel standoff?
This is a real conglomerate, man. This is an international 6. They have 6 locations.
Yes, perfect.
You want to know how? But here's a big number. Their losses. Their losses are in the millions. So they're hoping that you'll forget that they can't manage a company. You'll forget they have crappy locations that no one goes to, where they lose money every single day. They'll hope you forget all that, because now, instead of an incompetent bunch of foolish Spaniards running a shitty company, they're a bunch of geniuses that own Bitcoin. Guess what? If you own stock in this company, guess how much Bitcoin you own? Brandon, you want to guess?
None. Oh,
none.
Sorry. Did I give it away? None.
You did give it away a little. None.
I'm sorry.
So its board, which is comprised of like 3 retarded kids apparently, authorized it to raise 1.17, almost 1.2 billion through convertible debt. Who on earth is loaning these dummies money? It's mind-boggling. Anyway, guess who gets a commission?
Michael Saylor, somehow.
Directors are eligible for 2.35 million in bonuses if the market cap exceeds 118 million. So this is the scamminess on top of Ponzi on top of scam. Venati Coffee, a hugely struggling Spanish coffee chain operating in just 6 meager locations, has turned to Bitcoin so that you'll forget everything they've done in the past, joining a trend among financially strained firms hoping to push a gimmick and find a fix. Shareholders unanimously, of course, what's the shareholders? 6 people? Unanimously approved plans to accumulate up to 1.17 billion, 1 billion euro in Bitcoin, despite posting losses totaling 3.9 million last year. The company announced on Sunday, despite revenue growth, which is below their losses, they remain cash strapped, posting deepening annual losses, struggling with negative operating cash flow and thin liquidity, meaning they can't run a business, couldn't run a business, and will never be able to run a business. That's pretty much how it is. If you lose on the top line, the bottom line, if everybody loses all the time, it's like, what's that saying? We lose a little on each deal, but we make it up in volume.
Yeah.
Venati Coffee, they seek to redefine their business model and use Bitcoin as their primary reserve asset, accumulating large amounts of it as part of its treasury strategy. This is a rough translation from the Spanish filings. They bought 20 more Bitcoin at 109,880 each, totaling 54 Bitcoin now.
Wait. They bought it 109,000?
Yes.
Their first buy was at
109,800. So almost 110,000.
They tapped that.
Yeah.
They tapped that coffee stream, didn't they?
So they now have 54 Bitcoin at the end of June. The assets are being held with Bit2Me, which is a crypto exchange around in Spain, I guess. With the change, the board is allowed to negotiate convertible debt financing in a bid to mirror Michael Saylor's playbook, though without any meaningful revenue stream. Well, this is no different than Saylor either. Saylor's company was losing billions every quarter, billions, like lots of billions. So I don't think these guys are any dumber than Saylor, but they're not Michael Saylor, right? So most new Bitcoin treasury companies are gimmicks, and they will fail, right? So one of the guys here was saying that there's some diseconomies of scale that may favor new entrants when they do this. Like if someone has a badly run business and they push this, they get that kind of the Bitcoin pump. But then simply saying you're converting to a Bitcoin treasury doesn't make your bad business a good business just because you acquired sound money.
Yeah.
So anyway, directors released, they received authorizations to increase capital by up to 50%. They're going to exclude preemptive subscription rights for 20% of the new shares, which these are provisions that will dilute the interest of the existing shareholders, of course, because why wouldn't you screw over the few people that actually believed in your shitty coffee company? They will pay, this is the part that's sketch. Venati Coffee will pay up to 5% in commissions to intermediaries, including its own board members, for capital raised under this new Bitcoin financing plan. Talk about scammy. So these dudes, anybody want to do some math real quick on 5% of a billion? Oh, well, 1.17 billion if we get in, but let's just talk in euros. 5% of $1 billion euro. Anyone? Because to me, it smells like 50 million bucks that a few of these jerkwads are going to just trade among themselves. 50 million bucks. Oh, but remember, they also get bonuses on performance for having reached different investment milestones. So they're going to make about almost 8%, almost $80 million among these assholes. And by the way, you buy their stock. Guess how much Bitcoin you own? Fucking nothing.
Zero.
Don't own any Bitcoin.
That was my biggest qualm with all these purchases. Like everybody, like for GameStop, let's use GameStop as an example. They got billions of dollars and they bought 1/6 of it in Bitcoin.
Yeah,
where did the other 5/6 of it go? And so how do you get any value from that as an investor?
Corporate purposes.
Yeah, exactly. Like even Pompliano, right? They like immediately bought Bitcoin with their $1 billion purchase. How much Bitcoin did they buy? 500 million. Where did the other 500 million go? But they're like, we bought it. We're not GameStop. We instantly bought it.
Anybody who gives Pompliano money deserves to lose everything, because that guy has always been a piece of shit.
So
you get what you get. They're
getting their stock has doubled, almost tripled.
Yeah.
Since they started doing this stuff, the coffee company. So apparently this is the play. This is what these treasury companies are doing. They're getting this little stock bump. I worry long term. Obviously, I think everybody does. Well, everybody, even in the back of their mind, does. Everybody worries long term what this is going to have effect on Bitcoin. They're going to dump this when things get rough. Saylor won't dump his, but these guys will.
Well, they of course they will, because they're bad businessmen. Only they're tiny bad businessmen, so there's nowhere to go. So like Saylor, he's looking basically with strategy. Their target client, their target investor they're targeting the kind of fixed income products, those super liquid fixed income, which there's trillions in the fixed income market. That's who he's targeting. These assholes aren't targeting that. All they're doing is trying to say, we're tripling our Bitcoin. We had 2 Bitcoin. Now we have 6. We triple our Bitcoin reserves. Whoa, shit. You guys are big time. And dumb investors, this is the problem. Dumb investors get swept up into it and they get nothing. All they get is a bad business that is now glad-handed and paled and basically given just straight up stolen almost 8% of this money. $80 million is going to go to these assholes at Venati Coffee. These dudes I make better coffee, bro. By the way,
you're going to sell that. You were going to sell that in front of your house the other day, right? You had a table set up.
This is Southern Pecan, Brandon. Southern Pecan. Can you imagine?
I no.
Well,
My
I just tell
imagination
you,
has run.
if you-
My
if you-
imagination has run dry.
You want to know? If you went down on a leprechaun and he just
Okay.
blew a load of happiness right in your mouth, that's what you get.
Yeah.
Just so you guys know, there's no such thing as leprechauns. So if that guy asks you for a back rub, don't do it.
Yeah, I mean, Chris
Don't do
is right. Why not just go buy Bitcoin directly? Everybody keeps saying this. This makes no sense to me. But this is, but the problem.
Or indirectly through the ETF.
Well,
You could buy it right in your. Yeah.
That's fair. That's if you're a U.S. citizen, that's a fair question. Well, I guess if you're anybody, that's a fair question. Good point. Because anybody can buy Bitcoin. I guess my transition was more to something else. But let's finish your stuff first. Cash, what? Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about these Bitcoin treasury companies long term. For sure.
Okay, well, hold on. Diana's getting pissed. Okay, wait. Let me go find. I'm having trouble with my hypercycle and not getting a response to question asked. Hold on. Dig through here and find out why she's angry.
Oh well.
We're gonna get to the bottom of this, Diana.
If you don't have one of those, I'll scroll up. Hold on.
Want to have one of those fancy pronunciations like Diana?
I don't see any questions from Diana.
Diana?
I don't.
Diana?
I went all the way up. I'll answer any questions she had asked prior. I don't see any asked questions prior. Maybe I didn't. Maybe it's just like gone though.
How is Ben? Well, this is one. How's Ben Gortzel involved in hypercycle? He's not. He was originally one of the founders, and he and Mario were asked to see their way out. They were shown the door, and for that, hypercycle gave them a chunk of tokens, which they, for quite a while, dumped on the market. And it's not. Now, technically, it wasn't Ben's tokens that were being sold. It was the tokens that Mario got at Singularity DAO. If you want to be, if we're going to, look at the nitty gritty, it was Mario's tokens that were sold every single day, hundreds of thousands a day, every day. And that grinded the token down from $1.18 to 3 cents. Now, part of that was that the token no longer needs, you don't really need the token. No one's building licenses right now. They're waiting to see if any of these goddamn things make money, right? No one's going to pour more cash after that, Dunning-Kruger, right? But I will say this, if those node licenses start generating revenue of any kind, people are going to flip shit to get a hold of them. So there could be some moves to be made there. And again, I'm not recommending anybody do anything. Just keep your eyes out. Diseconomy of scale. So work it backwards, Scott. What's an economy of scale? Right? As you get bigger, there's all sorts of price benefits. There's all sorts of profit benefits, right? A diseconomy of scale means that it's a diminishing value as you increase the size of the network. So you don't get the benefit of that. Like what these little companies, these treasury companies, at first you can grab 2 or 3 Bitcoin and say you tripled your Bitcoin reserves, and that may make a bunch of dumbass stock investors buy your useless, worthless ass equity. But as you keep adding Bitcoin, it doesn't really move the needle. You still have a bad business that's losing money. Taking sound money and putting it in your back pocket doesn't make you any better at sports. You're just the guy that can't dunk the ball that has Bitcoin. And these are all companies that can't dunk the ball. These guys can't even hold the ball. They can't, nothing, any sports reference you want. These are all failed companies. That's the thing that people are missing. This whole Bitcoin treasury, it's a bit. It's a gimmick. It's a little performance theater. Hey, never mind. It's like Ted Bundy. Oh, never mind. I just cut 3 people's heads off. I got Bitcoin. Oh shit. Ted Bundy has Bitcoin. Well, come on over to the White House and let's have a luncheon. No, it doesn't work that way. These are all bad companies. These are incompetent business people that have squandered and pilfered, and now they're going to do it again, and people let them. It's insane. Yeah. It's insane. Yeah. Okay.
I agree.
Okay. What do we got? I do want to talk about Cash Karen before we go behind the wall.
Well, yeah, let's do that. But here, did you see that? Okay, so this is something because this segues in something that we've talked about and invested in. Kraken's going to release stocks and ETFs available as tokenized assets. I think they're doing it on Solana. I'm not sure because I know that Robinhood announced today that they're doing it on Solana. Anyway, they're going to release tokenized stocks. Basically, they picked 60 stocks. So, for example, Apple, right? They've taken Apple, they've made it into a tokenized asset. You can trade it 24/5. Anyway, that's you can trade it 24/5. Saturday, Sunday, no go. But you can trade it 24/5. I guess they use an Oracle to trade after hours, so you can trade this thing no matter what.
People are going to get destroyed, man.
So the reason that they're doing this, obviously, people want longer trading hours. And then also, people in other countries want access to U.S. equities because everybody over in the UK cannot trade IBIT. But look at their little disclaimer at the bottom here. X stocks are not available in the United States, Australia, Canada, EU, UK, and prohibited regions.
So who are they selling to? The Taiwanese?
Who is available to buy this product? I don't know.
Oh, the Greeks.
The Greeks might be able to buy this. No, because aren't they part of the European Union? Or are they not?
Greece? Yeah.
Is Greece not part?
Yeah,
I thought they were part of the EU. Yeah, so basically the Russians can buy this. And I would say the Chinese, but they're not because they can't because they're IP blocked, right?
They're all going to be banned anyway. The Russians can't do anything because of money laundering.
They're all IP blocked. So I don't know who's going to be able to do this. Now, here's the solution. In response to this, Kraken, in response to this whole chain here, because this guy was pissed. He's like, so this on-chain product is available only on a centralized exchange and available nowhere, which he's right. Nailed it. So in response to that, Jupiter comes out. We'll have it available in about 20 minutes on Jupiter. Every single stock. Every single one.
I love Jupiter. I wish the price wasn't in the gutter.
Yeah, the price is so... Yeah, we could talk about that all day long, but the price is so mispriced. There is so much stuff happening with Jupiter right now, and I can talk about this behind the wall, but there's so much stuff happening with Jupiter right now. It's blowing my mind. So they're partnering with... who is it? Moonshot. They're partnering with Moonshot up here soon. Anyway, well, they bought part of Moonshot. They're partnering with them, and it should help the token price. But let's talk about that behind the wall. But yeah, these guys, Kraken, obviously Robinhood today come out and said this stuff, and this is like this is the mind game that we're playing here. The president actively calling for interest rates to be cut to 1%. I think you're going to talk about this in a second. He's actively stated that he'll be replacing Fed Chair Powell, which makes sense.
Probably with
Meanwhile,
Scott. Yeah.
In the meantime, stocks are at all-time high. Real estate prices are at all-time high. U.S. debt is all-time high. Crypto is at all-time highs.
He's not completely accurate on real estate prices.
Whatever. Around here, we're all-time highs. I don't know where you're sitting, but maybe in Los Angeles. But here, all-time highs.
Well, things might be expensive, but actual sales are way down.
Okay.
For the last 3 months, we're in 2022 levels right now as far as actual. So what happened is, a bunch of people dumped houses on the market. And so now there's more inventory. There's not more buyers. Remember, you got people that are worried if they're going to be having a job next week.
Yeah.
So what's happened is buyers stop buying, and yet sellers are still dumping inventory onto the market. So it's created a weird vacuum that,
So, I mean
prices may be high, but guess what the cure for high prices is? Ain't no one buying shit. That's the cure. And then prices will come down. Nice.
So I guess there's never been a time in history when they've cut rates when everything's this high, regardless, real estate prices are not. The stock market is at all-time highs. They've never cut rates to 1% with everything this high. So it could create kind of a perfect storm here.
This
so
gets back to the argument of, is the stock market the economy? And the answer
no. I think real estate prices are more the economy. Egg prices are really the economy.
Yeah. What you buy and how you live, that's the economy. The financialized economy, which is a weird derivative product that only a percentage of people actually participate in, and a percentage of the companies actually participate in, and of those, thousands are garbage and like 7 are good. Of all that financialized economy, that's doing great because it's untethered from reality. What would dummies do is an important part of how you invest.
Yeah.
Because don't think that you're smart. Because
Yeah.
someone who was smart would not say, "Oh, I want to be buying stocks right now. Things look great." Oh, really? So higher layoffs, higher unemployment, lower job prospects, deflation. Deflation environment. At the same time, they're printing money out the back door of everywhere. $489 million a day. Like, by every way you measure everything, the economy is a dumpster fire. So it makes sense that the stock market will be crushing. Should be doing good.
Everybody's going into debt. Credit card debt is like all-time high. So everything's an all-time high. So it's like everything.
Except for people's savings. Do you know the average American
except for
savings right now is below $600?
I thought it was like $300 is what I saw. But yeah, $600. Yeah, that makes sense. Like, that's pretty bad.
That's really bad.
Yeah, not here. I think Florida's struggling really bad. The housing market in Florida is like tanking really bad. I think definitely certain spots, like pockets, like here, we can't have a house sit on the market more than one day, and they're building 400 houses a day. Like here, we're selling houses like every second because people from California.
You're in a non-linear environment.
Yeah,
right? You're in
but I think places like Florida, like they're losing ground like crazy. Anyway, so they're bigger. Anyway,
not just to erosion.
Yeah.
And finally,
you said you wanted to talk about Kashkari here.
Friday we were talking, and I said Kashkari is going to come. He's going to go down on Jerome Powell in the proverbial sense, because he always kisses his ass. He always toes the line. If you've ever heard this guy talk, this is a guy who will bend the facts and lie right through his goddamn teeth in your face, regardless of the actual facts. He will lie. This guy is a scumbag, man. Anyway, I mean, he does his fingernails and stuff, so I guess people trust him. Anyway, Neel Kashkari, president of the Federal Reserve Bank of Minneapolis, announced his expectation for 2 interest rate cuts in 2025, of course, with the first likely to occur in September. The announcement comes from one of the most hawkish members of the Federal Reserve. See, this is it. This is how two of them are saying we're going to cut in July. Now they got to bring back a detractor. No, not July, September. Now someone else is going to come out and say September. Then they're going to bring 2 more Fed governors that say definitely July. It's going to be July. This is all part of the political theater so that Jerome Powell doesn't look like a schmuck like he does now. Anyway, Kashkari's shift in perspective, because remember, he was the one saying 2 weeks ago, by the way, no cuts, none, 0, 2026, none. Like, whoops. Anyway, his shift in perspective suggests a growing concern within the Federal Reserve about potential economic headwinds, like the impact of tariffs on the economy. Real quick, tariffs have not caused inflation. They have not. A one-time price move is not inflation. Inflation is always and everywhere. Phenomenon. It's not this week prices went up, therefore inflation. Political effects are not inflation. One-off events like tariffs are not inflation. Yes, things cost more, but just because things cost more, that's not the definition of inflation. So when it's like firefighters running to a fire and they're like, what are we putting out? Oh, well, we brought our water canisters. Oh, this is a nuclear meltdown. Cool. So we just spray water? No, dummy. Wrong tools. So it does matter when people say, what's the difference if prices are going up? It matters why prices are going up, because the way that you deal with it is different. Anyway, he's emphasizing the importance of taking more time to understand the true state of the economy before making any bold moves. Yeah. I mean, I think they need more time. Obviously, they've been sitting still since December, so it makes sense that they just need more time to analyze. Again, the most forward-thinking central bank in the world, right? And this will allow for 2 policy rate cuts starting in September. He also mentioned the possibility of pausing the policy if the tariffs have had a negative impact on the economy. Again, which they were expecting to see in April, in May, and in June. And still, where's all this inflation that was coming? My eggs are more expensive. Bitch, your eggs were more expensive in January. Ain't no tariffs affecting your eggs. Anyway, but it does show a departure from what his other stance was. His whole stance of never, no, rate cuts are silly. We might even raise rates. And why? Because, well, there are businesses in Minneapolis that have contacted him and said, what the fuck are you saying? Like, our businesses are getting destroyed. So he's been forced to become a more dovish hawk, if that makes sense. This is all part of the theater of the Federal Reserve, a non-central bank pretending that they're in control of anything and having you believe that they are too. Any final thoughts on that, Brennan?
I think this is absurd. Those guys are so far behind the ball on this one. And it's just sheer, I mean, it's stubbornness. It's Trump. It's really just sheer stubbornness against Trump. That's all there is. They're behind the ball. They're idiots. Their data, well, they're not data dependent.
No.
Their data is not being used. That's just
they say they're data dependent, but they're not.
So full of crap. Anyway,
yeah.
Behind the wall, we're going to talk about some Jupiter stuff. We're going to go over a cool Bitcoin retirement calculator that I have, along with a lingerie fighting company that is now buying Bitcoin.
Well, hold on.
I'm just kidding. Listen. That's the end of that one. We're not talking about that one behind the wall.
Wait a minute now. Wait a minute.
Now let's talk about that one some more. Everybody's getting in the Bitcoin treasury game.
Listen, forget Bitcoin for a second. Lingerie fighting championships?
Yeah, I didn't even know this is a thing, but lingerie fighting championships
more,
add $2 million to Bitcoin treasury.
I need to know more.
I'm surprised you didn't know more already.
I am too. I'm a little bit disappointed in my own research.
I feel like you're out of the loop on this one.
Man.
This one was a little bit in the dark, under the sheets, lost in what do we say? This one was too under the covers for you. I don't know. Let's go behind the wall because we got to talk about some real stuff. Let's make it happen.
All right.
Investment time.
Yeah, let's go here. Let's go here. Let's go here. And for those of you that are not members, we will see you tomorrow. But for those of you who are, totally awesome.
Going behind the proverbial wall now to continue the broadcast privately for the digital investors and digital private clients. If you'd like to join us, simply go to nickblacknext.com and subscribe to one of our plans and immediately take advantage of our library of tools, tactics, and information. It's all designed to help you learn, grow, and manage your portfolio like a pro. Join us now.